Folks voiced outrage in front of Allentown City Hall today. This is an investigation that is continuing into an item resembling a noose that was reportedly found on a city employee's desk. And our Nikki Dementri is got the latest now. She's in Lehigh County with reaction from the city and community leaders about this investigation.
When Black lives are under attack, what do we do? Stand up.
A call for action and fight for change.
We will not be silenced.
Community members and leaders made their voices heard in front of Allentown City Hall Monday afternoon.
Just to think that people have to go to work in fear for their lives.
Since Friday, Allentown police continue to investigate an item resembling a noose found on a city employee's desk.
This egregious act is not just an affront to one individual, but it is an attack on the entire community.
Several spoke during a rally, calling for transparency, prevention, and an immediate federal investigation among a list of demands. This incident, community members note, is not the first racial discrimination issue City Hall has dealt with. Josie Lopez is a close friend of the victim.
They're always a community leader, always pushing for equality. They might be bruised right now, but they are not broken.
The victim is not being named due to safety concerns.
Our colleague was threatened. This was an act of terror. This was a hate crime.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is just another hoax, another failure, and another way of how black people are trying to be, trying to prove that racism is alive. But it's not. It's dead. Every single time it is like this. It's like, you guys have to have racism on life support because that is the only way that you can possibly have this come up at all. Like, it's really, really insane on how we're up in this world and we're going with this like, well, this is going to be another thing today. I mean, how many of these hoaxes have we found on this channel that have been to where black people were creating the hoax in the first place? Like, they were the ones that were actually trying to say that there's racism in this country, yet they had to spawn it in thin air and make up lies in order to even exist. That's how bad racism is right now. That's how bad it is. It's so bad that people, black people, have to create a racist event to even show that there's racism in the country. That's how bad it is. Guys, come on now. What are we doing? This is insanity here. And we have this here from Fox 29 Philadelphia saying, woman accused of putting noose on her own desk in Allentown City Hall because obviously this is something that we do, right? Like, this is the insanity part, right? Of course, we have this here from Liz Talk saying, new race hoax exposed, said Latarsha Brown, a city employee in Allentown, PA, Pennsylvania, and school board member at Allentown SD, was charged with making a false report and tampering with evidence after she reported that she found a noose on her desk at City Hall in January. She was reportedly not cooperative during the investigation, and DNA sample show only her DNA was on the news. Every single time.
Latarsha Brown, and I am a candidate for the Allentown School Board Director. Although there are many pressing issues during this race, what troubles me the most is that our board is not united. I see a divide between the decisions our board make and the needs of our students and community. My goal as a school board director is to not only be transparent, but it's also to be the ears of our community and to translate their voices into actions. When it comes to leadership, we must collectively work together to figure out what the issues are and then find potential solutions to the issues. Select the best solution for the issue and then implement a plan to effectively resolve the issue.
Every single time. Guys, what are we doing here? Right? Like a lot of you leftists are all going to say, oh, racism is alive, racism is here, racism is there. It's like yeah, right. It is. It's totally here. It's so far here that apparently we have to have a black person put a noose on her own desk. That's where we're at right now. That's our racism. a black person trying to create racism. That's where we're at. That's where we're at, leftists. But this is the reason why. Now, am I saying that there's 100% no racists? No. Nobody thinks that. Nobody with a brain thinks that. But obviously, it is on life support because people have to create these hoaxes in order for them to exist. I don't know about you guys. Like, this is like every single time they're trying to create this other Justice Smollett thing, which, by the way, got let off because obviously, hate crimes are allowed, I guess, from faking hate crimes is allowed in Illinois. So, go to Illinois. Black people, if you want to be and fake hate crimes, go to Illinois because they have allowed that to happen, all right? But in other cases, in other states that have more of a brain and, take fake hoaxes very seriously, you get arrested for this. And we have a story with this as well, where they're talking about how Allentown employee facing charges after planting noose on her own desk. Yeah, F around and find out.
Investigations Division. The purpose of this press conference is to provide an update regarding the noose investigation. I want to take a moment to thank the following agencies who assisted in this case: Lehigh County District Attorney's Office, the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Allentown Police Department conducted a thorough investigation, including interviews of persons, analysis of evidence, and consultation with the District Attorney's Office of Lehigh County. As a result of the subsequent investigation, Latarsha Brown was charged with tampering with or fabricating physical evidence, a misdemeanor of the 2nd degree, and false reports to law enforcement, a misdemeanor of the 3rd degree. As in every criminal case, the fact that a warrant has been issued or a complaint has been filed is merely an accusation. The defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law. I'm now going to ask Captain Milkovich to provide a summation of this investigation. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, so this woman not only, created a false racist attempt, a racist story, she also decided to tamper with evidence, among other things. So, again, this is not good. So, here's the problem that I have with this, right? When you have people go and commit these crimes or do these things, right, you end up having it to where there is an actual racist crime being committed. People are not going to take it seriously because so many other black people are making it be a non-serious thing or just watering down the whole instance of, there is racism. I'm being actually racially profiled, and it's probably true, but people are just ignoring it because, black people have been just, bring up these race hoaxes for years now, and they have all been failures. They've all been lies. So, keep up with this up, black people. I would really like to see on how this is going to go well here because, again, it's really the utmost stupidity of it all.
Captain Milkovich, Criminal Investigations Division. On January 10, 2025, at approximately 7:11 a.m., Allentown City employee Latarsha Brown arrived at her office on the 3rd floor of City Hall. At approximately 7:38 a.m., Ms. Brown notified the Allentown Police Department that she discovered on her desk upon arriving at work. Officers and Criminal Investigations Unit responded, initiating a criminal investigation to identify the individual responsible for placing the noose on Ms. Brown's desk. During the investigation, video surveillance and building access control records were reviewed to identify city employees present on the 3rd floor of City Hall between the time Ms. Brown left for work on the afternoon of January 9, 2025, and her arrival on the morning of January 10th. Those employees were interviewed. Each was asked if they would provide a buccal swab for DNA testing if needed. Every employee agreed, except for Ms. Brown. Initially cooperative, Ms. Brown later requested that the investigation be discontinued. The noose was submitted to the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab for DNA testing on January 14, 2025. On January 24, 2025, a search warrant was approved by the Lehigh County District Attorney's Office for Ms. Brown's DNA, and a DNA sample was obtained that same day. On January 27, 2025, Ms. Brown's buccal swab was submitted to the Bethlehem Regional Crime Lab of the Pennsylvania State Police for comparison with DNA profiles recovered from the noose. On March 10, 2025, the Forensic DNA Division of the Pennsylvania State Police issued a written report indicating that Ms. Brown's DNA matched the DNA profile obtained from the swabs of both the outer surface and inner knotted portion of the noose after it was taken apart. No other person's DNA profiles found on the evidentiary items involved in this investigation. As a result of this investigation earlier today, Detective Harold Bonds of the Allentown Police Department filed charges against Latarsha Brown at District Court 31-2-01 for the criminal offenses outlined earlier by Chief Roca. Thank you.
At this time, we'll take very brief questions. Rob?
Yeah, so, yeah, this woman has committed, has just had to go out and lie, fabricate evidence, didn't want to cooperate at all, and end up finding out that only her DNA was on the actual news itself, because, you know, these people, these race hustlers, these morons in the night, they have to lie about everything because that is the only way they can get it. Because why else would we need to why else would we need to do it, right? Because we need the money, and we want to prove that racism is alive, even though you're just proving more and more that racism is dying throughout the country, and the reason why it's still going is because we keep on talking about the racism. So maybe, perhaps, hey, this is crazy here, but perhaps we should just stop talking about racism. All right, maybe we should stop doing that. Stop talking about race, and maybe just move on with our lives and treat everybody else as we should be treating them. Right? I mean, treat them as people and not have to bring up about race. Because multiple times where I assume it might be about my race, it probably might be just because they might be an a-hole, right? And if they are racist, well, then they are racist. But again, this is just stupid to just constantly bring up race. Black people need to stop being victims. Full stop. Like, we just need to stop being victims. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And until we can learn to stop being victims and, you know, grow out and be adults and move on with our lives and, you know, prosper in society, we will never move up from this, and we will perpetually be victims and losers because we have to ride the coattails of racism that's just not happening very much in America. If you guys want racism, go to Russia. If you guys want racism, go to China. Go to any Asian country and see how you're treated as black people. I mean, there's a black person named Johnny Somali that just straight up ruining everything because he went over there and caused mischief, and now black people are not looked in a good light both in South Korea and Japan because we have a black person that's doing this, and they're seeming to be more clamping down more on foreigners because of this, right? And there was a black person that was doing it. So again, we need to be better as black people. We need to stop doing this race hustling BS. And people like Roland Martin and all these other race hustlers just need to stop their insanity. Because obviously they're not making things better. And a woman like this is a prime example of that. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care my friends.